Hola los espectadores. Soy Señor Lockwood, and this is Las Otras Borrascosas. In the last episodio,
Little gypsy beggar.
Senor Earnshaw adopted the sad orphan Heathcliff, who was kind of a jerk and disagreed with the Earnshaw's son, Hindley, about pretty much everything. Kathy was cool though.
It's okay, Heathcliff. Don't listen to him. You're not a gypsy beggar. I bet you're gypsy royalty. Now, let's go run around all these steep cliffs in the rain.
Sounds good.
Hindley hates Heathcliff, and kind of Kathy too.
You both. I hate you.
But that is okay, because Heathcliff hates everyone anyway, except Kathy, because they decided they were enamorados.
This love, it overwhelms me.
Oh, Heathcliff, my beloved. Now that we're 12 years old, I can't imagine my life without you. Fucking gypsy.
And then, Kathy and Hindley's padre murió, and real drama went down at the Wuthering Heights. Thrushcross Grange, this estate next door, with Edgar and Isabella, los niños of the Linton familia.
Isabel, I met a chica.
¿Esta Erika? Oh. While at Las Otras Borrascosas.
Heathcliff, my love?
Yes, my angel.
Oh, would you fetch me my tea set? I need to practice my etiquette.
Why?
Well, I met a boy and he seems to think I need to limpiar mi acto so I can be more sophisticated like him.
And then...
Oh, I mean, and it's not like I could ever possibly marry Heathcliff. But I do love him so. His soul and my soul are the same. I am Heathcliff. Wait, which part of that did you hear?
And then...
You must choose Heathcliff or I, Catherine.
I choose to throw a tantrum.
And then, with a slightly different approach.
Marry me, Catherine.
Okay.
And then...
Run away with me. You've killed yourself. Our souls are one. And as you've broken your own heart, you've broken mine.
And so, Edgar and Kathy got married and were kind of happy, they guess. But 3 years later...
I am Heathcliff, and I have returned to wreak revenge on those who have wronged me.
And?
What? Do you think I've just come crawling back?
She did.
No, of course not. Have you?
He has.
Foolish, prating woman, it is you who will come crawling back.
Hola, Heathcliff.
But he was just hitting on Isabella to spite Kathy for leaving him, and Edgar for marrying his mujer. He had Isabella convinced he was a dark and tortured soul who just really needed to be loved, when actually...
He's playing with you.
But I love him in his dark, tortured heart.
Go to your room.
I am in my room.
No sister of mine will marry a hecking gypsy.
But marry that hecking gypsy she did, and Kathy was muy jealous.
Heathcliff, I love you.
Kathy, why aren't you crawling back?
Oh, Heathcliff, our mad, passionate love cannot go on, for I am muy sick and soon I may be muerto.
Come away with me, beloved.
But what about Isabella?
She's really annoying. It's you I love, Kathy. Don't die, our hearts beat as one.
Te amo, pero no.
No! Come back! I don't leave this foul earth. I have killed you. So haunt me that drive me mad. I must have my soul.
Heathcliff drowned in depression and started seeing Kathy's ghost everywhere. Loco! Poor Isabella.
I've brought you grapes. Don't you love me, mi amore?
What an idiotic question, you beast of a woman. Of course not. Don't you ever insult my Kathy like that ever again. Clean this up. How dare she? As if you would ever leave me.
Isabella found out she was embarazada and ran away to spare her son from his abusive padre. In London, she gave birth and named him Linton after the family she left behind, and died some years after. Linton came to live with Heathcliff, and to play with. The boy had Cathy's daughter, Cathy Pequeña, and Hindley's son, Hareton, who couldn't read. Now that you're all caught up, this is Las Otras Borrascosas, episodio número 122. ¡Vamos!
Everything the light touches will one day belong to you.
What about that house draped in shadows?
That is Wuthering Heights you must never go to.
And thus, little Cathy went anyway. This is Hareton. He's weird.
Hi.
Huh? Hola, Kathy.
Hi. Little Kathy, actually. A junior? How did you almost know my name?
I have an approximate knowledge of many things.
Who are you?
I am Heathcliff. Linton Heathcliff. And I have come to steal your heart, mi amor.
That's great and all, but I don't think my dad is gonna be okay with that.
However, she didn't seem to mind much later.
I thought you were gonna go first.
No, I thought you were going first.
Kathy. Kathy. Kathy.
And Hareton just... yeah.
You say, Dad. Catherine, you are breaking my heart. You have come to Wuthering Heights all the time to take care of me. Marry me. I know it might make your dad angry, but you should do it anyway.
Linton, I don't really know if I... Sorry, I don't want to marry Linton. I want to be free.
She will marry my son for her mother's sake. Though my Kathy could not marry me, she will marry young Heathcliff. And then her father's estate will be mine. And I will have my revenge. Kathy, now that we're married, I never loved you.
What do I do now?
Be my servant.
Pardon? No. This is a tad too wacky for me, Senor Lockwood, the narrator, to handle. You are on your own. Lockwood out.
My love. I dug up your body and you were still sweet, perfect. I love preserve. Kathy. Kathy. I never learned to read. I think you're pretty.
I think you're not as much as a moron as you were when we first met.
Want to get married in our hearts?
How about we get married for real? Well, wasn't that lovely? Tragedy, drama, romance, all wrapped up together in one neat little package. I bet you're wondering who I am, aren't you? Well, let me explain that to you. I am the illustrious Emily Bronte, the author of Wuthering Heights. And I'm here to explain to you a little bit about what you just watched. Ooh, what shall we start with? Let's start with nature, shall we? I tried to put nature at the forefront of Wuthering Heights. And you can see that in the setting. The setting of the Yorkshire countryside is very important to the course of the novel. The characters spend much of their time in the gardens, cliffs, and the moors of the countryside. And that's where they do their thinking. It's a lot of where their drive comes from. It's very important. And not only that, but nature represents something theoretical as well as literal. The nature of several people is explored, whether they're wild, passionate, true forms versus the forms that society implies upon them. And another interesting thing about nature is how nature combines with other aspects, mainly the supernatural. While the setting of Wuthering Heights is very grounded in reality and in the natural world, you have to admit there is something very dark and mysterious about these mystical moors where it rains every time the characters are going through a deep, troubling situation. The land drives people in almost an unnatural way. Another element explored in Wuthering Heights concerning nature is the battle between nature and society, and the instances where one wins and the other does not. If you think about it, that is exemplified within the two estates in Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange. Wuthering Heights is an example of when nature won the battle with society. It's tumbling, it's falling down, it's succumbing to the passions and natural states of its owners. And Thrushcross Grange is an instance where society has triumphed over nature. It's where it's high and mighty and the epitome of class and of false elegance. And it's where its residents are forcing down their inner natures and rather becoming what society enforces upon them. That is very evident from when Kathy is herself in Wuthering Heights, and then when she's Kathy Linton in Thrushcross Grange. But I'm getting ahead of myself talking about Kathy. Back to the supernatural, which, as you think of it, is rather about Kathy. The supernatural not only plays a part in the environment, but it plays a part in the people themselves, namely Heathcliff and Kathy. Heathcliff is described as a ghost or a ghoul. His presence unnerves people. For lack of a better term, it haunts them. Kathy, on the other hand, very literally does haunting. Through most of the novel, she's a ghost. She haunts both Wuthering Heights and the moors of Yorkshire, but she also haunts people. Her memory haunts little Kathy in the fact that it affects the way people treat her, and her memory very, very obviously haunts Heathcliff in the fact that it practically drives him mad by the end of the novel, where all of Heathcliff's actions in the latter part of Wuthering Heights are the result of Kathy haunting him, her memory, and potentially her actual physical spirit. So why don't we talk about love? In Wuthering Heights, I tried to explore several different types of love. The Greeks in ancient times had 8 different definitions of the different types of love, and I tried to explore many of them in Wuthering Heights. Now let's start with our main love story, Kathy and Heathcliff. Their love is mad, it's passionate, it's all fire and very little substance. It's at the center of the story, and it drives most of the actions of the characters as well as most of the characters' problems. But what type of love is it? If you look at it, strangely enough, it's not an erotic love. It's very passionate, but very guarded. In better terms, their love could be described as the obsessive love, or mania, with a little bit of enduring love, or pragma, since it's very notable that both of them loved each other till the day they died. But both of these create a problem because obsessive love, as stated, has very little substance. It can quite literally drive people mad, and it's not very healthy because neither of them fully understand the person they're in love with. And while enduring love is very nice, in this instance it also causes problems because neither of them ever move on. They cling to the memory of the other throughout their entire life, and it's quite devastating for both of them. But this is sounding all rather sad, isn't it? All the love in Wuthering Heights isn't that bad. You get a quite good example of love with little Kathy and Hareton. Theirs is the closest you get to the Greek definition of selfless love, or agape. While both of them don't really like each other at first, they come to love each other. They grow to understand each other's... Let's discuss the way I wrote the novel, because that's also very important. If you think about it, none of the action ever happens directly. It is all related to the reader through the voices of two very distinct narrators, Nellie and Mr. Lockwood. The reason I chose to tell the story through narrators, it accomplishes two reasons. One, it's the fact that when the reader never hears any of the action directly, and it's all told what mainly happened in the past, it makes the action seem more final. Like they were definite, they were set, they were predetermined. They could never have ended any other way. It adds a sense of fate and destiny to the events of what happened to the characters.